So this, firstly, I'd say it depends on the camera you're using and how much flexibility and how many shooting modes you have. For recent Insta360 cameras like the X3, some of them have inbuilt what they call active HDR. Oh, I think my screen.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did that. I thought you were done on that topic. No, okay.
No.
Okay.
Okay, let me just, there we go. Yeah. Yeah. Still just using this. Yeah, so they've got active HDR, and that creates more of a look like this, straight out of the camera, using active HDR. So it essentially is like auto exposure, where it gets, say, the dark exposure, the light exposure, and a middle exposure and blends them all together. And it does that instantly. So that can be a good way to go sometimes, but not all the time, because auto exposure also brings things with it, like too much ISO, so meaning too much grain, or sometimes inconsistent shutter speeds or the wrong shutter speeds. So while I would say that you could use HDR video outside, and that is a good option if you own a camera like the Insta360 X3, sometimes just the regular auto exposure is fine. And then in certain situations like high contrast, you'll want to go into manual mode. So for example, something like this, this is a really tricky lighting situation because you've got a lot of darkness here. This location was extremely dark, and it was hard to expose this, yet you've got those pops of highlights coming through the windows here. So this is when I went in this kind of situation. So this is, I guess, what you call an interior shot. This is when you'd use manual mode, so you can avoid it being too dark and also too bright coming from the highlights, but also noise as well. Noise can get quite extreme when you're shooting indoors, and it can be more noticeable with video than photo because video is moving, and with moving, with moving shots, like you actually see the noise playing out sometimes. Like if you zoom in really close, you can see like little pixels moving, and it doesn't always look good. Hence why, yeah, shooting in manual mode, in those kind of scenes will lead you to getting better dynamic range. So yeah, so that kind of concludes my tip for daytime.